What do y'all see?
The quieter you become, the more you can hear.
Okay, so I think I
Graphic.
shared the wrong screen. This is the joy of being a good instructor. Pick me next time, I promise. Okay, so on my screen, I think you can see the screen now. This is the Google Drive. Okay, so Sites is built within Google Drive. That's the master layout of Google. So you're looking at the mission services kind of fakeish drive here. In the in our organization, we created something. I've created something simple, but Google Drive contains the outs for anything like Google Forms, Google Sheets, anything like that. You can add a new here and it will say some other things. So you've got Google Docs, Sheets, etc. So if you click new, once you sign into your drive, you're going to click new and it's going to say Google Site. Okay, so that's how you navigate to begin a Google site. So again, when you're in your Google Drive, you've logged in, go up to the new button and go into more, and it will give you the option to do Google Sites. Okay, so I'm just going to open a new one. We're just going to do a fake site for the consortium. I can title my site up in the left-hand corner. So I'm just going to title it Fake Training Site, just in case anything happens. So that's the very first thing. Create your site, name your site, and then we go from here. All right. So the first thing is you want to create a theme for your site. Now, Google Sites is not based on HTML language, right? So if you're like a web-based designer, or you've got a lot of, experience in web-based design, this is not a platform you probably want to use, because a lot of it is just click and drag, add things, take stuff away, kind of like a software Microsoft almost. If you want to HTML code and stuff, you're going to have to build in a web domain such as, I'm trying to think, GoDaddy or WebHost, some of those things. Those are more HTML coding type platforms. If you just want to build a simple website, this is where you go. So you have the ability to change the theme of the way this looks. So it's found on the right-hand side where the navigation pane is. You've got insert, which we'll talk about in a minute, all of the dynamic functions that you can insert into this. You've got pages, which is basically the navigation page. I won't do a custom theme today. I will do a simple theme. Can you guys see me still? Okay. All right. So this is the simple theme. It starts out just kind of that grayish color background. I have the ability to change it to purple, the kind of greenish, purple more, or black, or to another kind of font that is hex style. So if you know the Adobe Color Scale, if you do not know Adobe Color Scale, I believe it's color.adobe. Yes, so it's color.adobe.com. You're able to select it, and then you can mimic any of the color wheels here. So you just kind of pick your color and it tells you what the little codes are. Okay, so if you're not familiar with that, again, it's color, color.adobe.com, and that will give you massive amounts of color scales. Right, so that's the simple theme. Then we've got a couple more if we scroll down. So we've got diplomat theme, and you can change the font style, whether it's a light font or a classic font or a bold font. You got the Aristotle style, vision style, okay, and etc. So it's just a different kind of font style, color style to your theme. So I'm just going to go with the vision style, just kind of be a little bit more modern. So I've named my site, created my site, and I'm going to select the theme here. And then we're going to move on to kind of editing the headers of our sites. So everyone knows when you go to a website, the first page you land on is what?
Homepage.
The home page, right? So in the Pages tab, That's what's created first. So by default, it's creating a home page for you. Okay, so this is what we're building here. So let's say we're saying, you know, nonprofit resource bucket. We'll just call it resource bucket, right? That's the name of our website. Okay. You can edit fonts and all of these things just like you can in any Google or Microsoft software. So as I type the title into the page, notice that I have a bar that pops up for formatting. So I can change it from a title to a header, which is smaller, or maybe a subheading, which is smaller, or just even smaller text. So since this is a title, I'm going to keep it as title. You also have the ability to select multiple fonts that you are comfortable with. Now, this is not all of the Microsoft fonts. These are fonts that are allowed to be licensed by Google. So you don't have all of the fancy ones that you do in Microsoft. A lot of times in a very clean look, a lot of people go for Roboto. So once you select your font, so we'll just say Roboto, you have the ability to make it thin, light, normal, medium, bold, etc. So just kind of the thickness of this font. So since it's a title, I'm just going to go bold. And then on the left and right hand side, you see these little circles. So those are your shape. I call them shape movers. It's probably not the right word, but you're able to adjust the size of your graphic. So I can move this out a little bit, move it over to a little bit more. And so now it's more in a centered kind of style. And then of course you have the ability to change the font size, bold, italics, underline, and you also have the ability to change the color. Okay. And it's not completely all of these colors. You have the added button here where you can do, again, those hex colors that I told you earlier from Adobe. You can pick a color that you absolutely enjoy. You can do your colors from your organization. Let's say you have logo colors that you know. You can make your site match the color scheme of your particular logo or organization, or maybe it's a personal business. So again, you have the ability to do that. I'm going to leave it white because it stands out really, really good. You also have the ability to add a hyperlink. Now, with hyperlinks, there's two things that you can do within this, this particular software with Google. You can hyperlink to a form. We use JotForm here. You can hyperlink to a form, another website, any type of link that you want to put there, you can. Or as we build these pages out, you're able to link to other pages. So maybe the hyperlink there takes you to the resource list, right? So as you build out pages, you're able to link to those pages as well. And of course, the last thing here is to make it center, left, or right. That's completely up to you, whether you like the title in the center, to the left, etc., as you build this website. Now, at the very top of the page here, it has your site's name. You can adjust this if you want to. You can say, welcome to our site. All right, so maybe that's what they see on the home page. It does not change the title of your site. It changes what they see on your particular website. Now, you also have the ability to add a logo. I'm going to put, I don't have a picture to upload, I don't think. I think I've got, let's say, I think I've got Thurgood Marshall's picture. He's my hero. I don't know where it's at. I don't know where it's at, but you can upload a logo or a particular image if you choose to your website, and you're able to, it will show up here as the link. So on our website, it has our circle logo for Goodwill. You're able to do that. All right, now, are there any questions about the header part of your website? Now, you can do this header throughout every single page. Okay, you don't have to, keep the same header every single time. The way we format this one, you can do so on every single page. The other thing about a header is you do not have to use any of these pictures. So if you want to change the image here, you can select an image. If you do select, it's going to give you a basic gallery from Google. You also can have a URL. So for instance, if you have a server or another website that has a picture that you want, you can URL that in. You also can search, which is a Google search, but be mindful when you're Google searching, you have to give credit to the artists. So all these images on Google are not completely free. And people don't really experience that or really think about that when they're doing it. Oh, it's a Google site, so I can Google search. No, if you use a picture, you have to give credit to the author unless it's from the gallery of Google, which is the basic ones that they give you. You also have your albums. So I have albums set up in my Google Drive. So it's pulling from my Google Drive albums. And you also have a main list of Google Drives that will take from any template I've put inside of my drive. So if I've got videos from our marketing team or something in here, I could pull from those and make those my header. You also have the ability to upload an image. So, you know, I'll be funny and I'll use my picture. It will look weird, but here's my picture. So I can put me behind it. I can reset it to the old one if I made a mistake. Again, I will select an image from the gallery. Let's say it's these really pretty lights. And then I have a really pretty background, right? So any image you particularly want. Now, you also have the ability to remove the adjustments here. So it'll make it a little bit more readable on websites, etc. So sometimes that's good to use, sometimes it's not. With Google Images, it's not really required because theirs are already formatted for Google Sites anyway. Again, if you don't like it, you can change the image at any time. And this does not carry over to the other pages. You're welcome to change each time. Right? Any questions on the headers? Anything you might want to know? I have a quiet crowd. I love it. Okay. All right. So now that we have built the header part of this page, let's talk about inserting things on the page. So when you go to the Insert tab, you have many different buttons, functionalities, commands that you can use. So let's just see how each one of these works. If you insert a text box, it's pretty much like typing text onto your page. So I'm going to say, welcome to our website. Thank you for visiting. All right. And again, all of this can be formatted as a header. Maybe I want it as Roboto condensed. I want it in the middle of the page, maybe a little bit bigger to 24. Since it's a blue type font, maybe I want some of that blue here. And that'll be good. Now, the other thing that you can do with these text boxes are little bitty command buttons to the left of these. You have the ability to select colors for the background. So this is a plain white background. Then you have style 2, which is a little bit of gray behind it. You have style 3, which is the black behind it. So I can change the font to white and it would show up a little bit better. Or you can put an image behind it, just like you did this. Okay, so sometimes it's better to use kind of the grayish because it doesn't really fall into any color scheme. But for right now, we'll just leave it as the white background. Okay, and again, you can make it any verbiage. I'm just building it as we go. Then the next thing that I would do is do a divider. So the divider is kind of a line that just gives it its own little kind of section and makes it look good. This line can be, again, put into these different styles. So that's just kind of a divider. The line color is pretty much set in stone from the template that you've chosen. With mine, it was blue because of, you know, the background, etc. And then our next one, maybe we want to do an image. So I can upload an image here. I'll do my wonderful picture again. All right, so let's see it. Let's see if it'll work. Let's do this. Let's get rid of you for a second. Oh my gosh, it's being evil to me, y'all. Only because I'm teaching. That's what it does when I'm teaching, right? I'm going to find me some. images. All right, let's do it this way. All right, so let's select an image. Google image search. We're just going to do this. Let's say dog. Okay, he's cute, so we're definitely doing him. So we'll insert that picture here. Again, it inserts pictures, right? So you can crop it. Maybe you want the dog's head just a little bit bigger, move down a section to be more focused on him. You select the checkbox, and now we've got a bigger image of the dog. Again, any image from Google Drive, anything that you upload, you're able to use. And then you also can use this crop button, and it puts it back to its original state. So again, we can move it up a little bit, bring the dog's head in. Yes. And we can keep adding these images. Okay, so maybe I select another dog, right? Let me select. We do another dog. Maybe I can't spell today. Maybe we do a different breed. Let's do the cute Labrador. All right, now I'm going to crop him so he's a little bit more prominent in the picture. Now, you see how I went ahead and put it in another section? You're able to grab it and move it up, right? You're able to grab and move. Now, you see when I start moving how you have these grid lines that pop up? It's kind of guiding you to tell you where it's going to be, right? I can make it a little bit bigger to match the other side, and I'll put it all the way here. So I could add another image for this dog here, okay? Now, let's stop for a second and start looking at separate pages. So maybe this is welcome to our website, and these two dogs are let's actually make it real. Let's say adoption agency. Let's make this adoption agency. All right, so we're an adoption agency, right? So maybe these two dogs are your highlight of the week, right? You've added them as the highlight of the week. So what we would do now is let's stop for a second and look at the hyperlinks, right? So let's say our first little, I think he's a more of a Labrador or Golden Retriever, I think. So maybe we say his name is Lucky. All right. So we're going to build a page for Lucky. All right. So we're going to go over here to pages, and I'm going to add a page here. All right. So add subpage, but then I'm going to, let's just call him Lucky. All right, I'm going to make it actually, what did I do? Let's do it this way. So let's duplicate the page and make it Lucky's page. And he's the Golden Retriever. All right. All right, so there's Lucky. All right. So now we have Lucky's page here, right? You see it's a new page on our tab. So let's say you don't want people to be able to select Lucky here, right? You want people to be able to select Lucky from his picture. So what I'm going to do is right click on this ellipsis, and I'm going to put hide from navigation. Okay, so when you hide it from navigation, it looks like a slice through. And what it's saying is that there would be a home here, but you wouldn't see his page. You'd have to click on the picture to go to his page. Okay, so now that we've built Lucky's page into the website, we're going to hyperlink the picture of Lucky to be able to navigate to that page. Okay, so I'm going to click on Lucky's picture, and you see where this hyperlink graphic comes up. When I click here, I can't, well, it's not doing it. It's being mean to me, y'all. I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to trick it. For some reason, it does not like me. I have to, haha. It does not like me today, y'all. For some reason, it's not liking me. All right, we'll do it in a minute. I don't know why it doesn't like me. It's because I'm teaching. I guarantee you this is what happens every time. So anyway, we're going to remove this page and let's start again. Let's try it another way. All right, so we're going to insert pages. All right, let's just do a subpage. All right, now let's make Lucky's subpage. All right, so now we have Lucky. We'll move him out in a minute. All right, so we have the home page and then we have Lucky's page, right? So we'll say Lucky the Golden Retriever. All right, now we have his page. Again, we can change it that. All right, so we do not have to have everything here. All right, we can go back home. So we're here. All right, so we'll link to that page in just a minute. We'll trick the website. So we have our home page. We can add pages, right? All right, so let's look at some other features for inserting. Now, what if you have like graphs, right? So I work with Power BI. Does anybody else work with Power BI? Any Microsoft software? Okay. So let's say you have a graph from a website that you want to show on your page. You know, this many dogs have been adopted in June. This many dogs have been adopted in July, or whatever you want to do. You have the ability to embed specific objects inside of your website. The embedded objects cannot be used or whatever. They're just viewable embedded objects. So maybe you have a slideshow from somewhere else. Maybe you have, you know, another website you want to get them to. That embedded is just a code or a URL code to something else. So when I build graphs in Power BI, I'm able to show those graphs. When COVID hit, I know I hate saying that word, but the best example I can tell you is the state of North Carolina on the DHHS website had all of those interactive graphs where you could see what was happening with hospitalizations, all those good things. That's what embedding means. You can't really copy the graph or you can't really do anything with it, but it's embedded into your website. So that allows you to see things and show things on your website every single day. You can change them. Once you embed it in here, it does not have to be permanent. You again can change this at any point in time. Okay, so that's the embedded function. And again, we have a Google Drive function here where I can insert anything. So on our website, I have built online classes. I'll show you an example of our website in a second. I have built online classes. And so I can connect to this classroom folder, and all of those things are viewable by people that access that on the website's page. Okay, so again, you have the ability to use Google Drive as well to put things on your website. All right, I'm just going to add another divider here. All right, now the other thing is maybe you just made a boo-boo. Maybe you want to move this up. So you again can grab the corner of these and move them around on your website. As you see, like, nope, don't want this here, want this over here, etc. If you are a paint by number person, or color by number, if you're that type of person, Google also thought about you. There's different layouts here that are already pre-established, and you can maneuver them as you choose. So what I'm going to do is select one of these layouts. So let's say we're doing the pictures of the dogs again. So I selected this particular layout, and you can see that it's images and then edited text below it. So maybe I want a picture of our CDS team, right? I put a picture of me. I'm the Learning and Outcomes Manager. I put a picture of Steve. He's the Executive Director of the Dog Adoption Agency. And then I put a picture of Crystal. She's our wonderful Director of Business Engagement, okay? So we have all of these things we can do. You're able to choose those layouts. If you don't like that one, let's delete it, and let's select another one. So we've got a placeholder here where we can add stuff. You can add here. All right. So you also can add images, YouTube channel, a calendar, or a map. All right. So a map, you can enter the location of your map, drop a place marker somewhere. All right. So that's North America. Or you can have your maps, which is a whole new Google feature we won't get into, but you're able to add those maps. So for instance, you want to show site locations for these adoptions or any particular thing, you have the ability to add different maps to these pages. Okay. See the map, and then they can increase and decrease on the website. So it's just like a Google map, right? So if you have specific sites, create that. You also have the ability to, let me do one other thing. You have the ability to add a calendar. Now, because again, it is a calendar for Google, it is a Google Calendar, okay? You can't pull in a calendar from Microsoft or a calendar from Apple or something like that. It is a Google Calendar, and that Google Calendar it can be managed just like your Google Sites can. So if you have a specific calendar that you want to use, like all of our things we've created have their own calendars, so you can just pull a calendar into there. Okay, so maps and calendars. Then you also have the ability to add a YouTube channel. Now you would have to upload or sign into your account or look up YouTube. Now, we have a YouTube channel for Goodwill, Try Goodwill. So I could pull those videos in here free because those are ours. If you are Googling somebody's website, just make sure that if you include their thing, so maybe you found something on the best way to prepare for an adoption, right? You found a video on YouTube for preparing for that. If you did, you can use it, but put a text box underneath it that says video taken from da 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 and give credit to the author so that you don't get into some crazy stuff. So upload images from Drive or YouTube, Calendar, or Map. As you build your website, you're able to add those things in. All right. So are there any questions on kind of the layouts or the basic 4 functions up here? I really do have a wonderful group today, don't I? Even when I mess up, y'all love me. If you want to add several things here, again, you can add a YouTube calendar and map from here as well. So I could do a calendar and add it here if I chose. The same thing with a map. We would go back and we could put it anywhere on the website or YouTube channel. Also, you have a collapsible group. Now, what a collapsible group means is, let's say you have a listing of all the adoptable dogs, right? This section here will collapse. So it'll give them that little arrow to collapse it down or increase it, expand it. So if you've ever been to a website where you can open and close things, that's what this is. So you can create a collapsible list of something, a collapsible picture of something. That's the collapsible piece. You also have a table of contents. You can create a table of contents that will show them all of the things that's on your website. I have yet figured out a way to use this because to me it's confusing. The table of contents to me would be the headers at the top of the page to navigate to your pages. I'm not sure why they did this. I haven't found any functionality of it. You're welcome to play with it if you choose to, but for me, it just causes confusion because the user would usually go to the navigation menus at the top to navigate your website. It is available if you choose to do that. Another thing is you can add an image carousel. So an image carousel is those things you see on websites where they have multiple images coming at the top of the page or in the middle of the page, wherever. So if you've got a lot of events coming up or you've got a lot of things that take place for a while, you can add images to this website and it will carousel through just like it would on a normal website, or they can select those multiple images. So you do have an image carousel. You also have settings for this carousel. So show dots means at the very bottom of your carousels, you see those dots where you can move between images. That's what this is. So if you want them to be able to do that, you select the box and they're able to do that. If you don't, and you want it to scroll on its own, then you would definitely uncheck that box because they wouldn't be able to they wouldn't see those dots. If you want captions below the images, you're welcome to do that as well. And then of course, auto start means it would start carouseling on its own as soon as they visited the page. And then you have the ability to maneuver the speed that those carousels happen. So do you want it to quickly move through images? Do you want it to do it very slowly, at a medium pace, etc.? You're welcome to do that on your own and see how fast they go. But notice at the very bottom, it's obvious. I think it's Captain Obvious, but again, we have to tell people a carousel must have at least 2 images. So you can't really have a rotating carousel if you don't have at least 2 pictures. So if you want to use this, make sure you have 2 or more pictures that you're thinking of using or graphics that you're thinking of using. But again, those settings are here when you go into that carousel app, and you're able to set those carousels as you wish. And again, at the very bottom of this, there are docs, slides, sheets, forms, and charts, all part of Google's repertoire of things you can use. So you can actually add a Google Doc into here if you choose to, or a sheet, or anything that people are able to access from your website. The only other thing that I would say here that's very important is the settings that appear right here at the very top corner of your page. Those settings are extremely important. So here in this little gear, you have the ability to set things. Now I'll show you this on an actual website in a second. I just want to give you the rundown. So the navigation shows at the top of the page. This is where your home page, tab names, all of those good things show. You can have it at the top, or you can have it on the side of the page, which is right here where you get a menu that comes up on the side. Okay, so that's the difference between the top and side of the navigation panes. You also have the ability to set the color. So if it's transparent, it's going to go with the color scheme of the page. If it is white, it'll have a white background, and if it's black, it'll have a black background. I normally go with transparent because it follows the scheme of your web page. It looks really nice from a marketing standpoint. Brand images. So if you have any logo that you want to upload from your business, your personal account, etc., you have the ability to do that. Now, a favicon, anybody know what a favicon is? Nope. Okay. So what that does is, if you've ever been on a Google search, it's the little image that pops up along with the websites. So it's those little icons that you can see. So for instance, the one that we did, we put our logo the same thing. So it shows up in that really, really, really top corner of a website. And that's what's called a favicon. So it's not the logo perchance on your website. It shows up in the very top corner. And it's like that image that brands your website for some reason. We do the same thing, logo and logo. So it all kind of is consecutive, but you do have the ability to change it if you want to. The viewer tool, it's like information to your site. So again, the site info icon is at the lower left of your published site, which means down here someone could see how to report an abuse if there's an abuse on the website or something, how to report things. Those are the info. Last visits, it was created by Google, all that good stuff. If you don't want to do that, you can uncheck it at any point in time. You also have the ability to set up a custom domain, right? So if you're building a website like triedgoodwill.org, if I start the setup, you're going to have to pay for a domain name. Okay, that's always the thing. But you're able to do that on a Google site. You can pay for your personal domain name and use that as part of your Google site, but you would have to pay some of that for that. The analytics piece is if you have analytics, a Google Analytics account. Again, it's a subscription account. You're able to have some aspects of it for a free account, but the majority of the really, really intensive stuff is a paid subscription. It's not very expensive, but again, if it's not something you need, don't pay for it. You'll get a measurement ID from your Google account. And when you type it into this particular page, what it's going to do is start looking at the analytics of your page. How many people visited this page? Was it a direct click from a website? Was it a direct click from an ad or a search? How many people visited on Monday versus Tuesday? It's going to show you all of those analytics that marketing people look at to see if your website is being looked at, whether the things are being touched that you want people to click and touch on. That's a big piece of running a good website if you choose to do that. But again, you would have to pay for that subscription and get the ID that you would need. The last thing that people really like on this is called an announcement banner, and I'll show you that in functionality on our website. The announcement banner will appear at the top. So if I say show banner, banner color, let's say it's red, and the announcement is please click here. you can say, click for more info. And then again, the pages that you've built into your website, it'll take you to Lucky's page, right? Visibility on homepage only or on all pages, and you can open it in a new tab if you want to open a new window when they click on it. So if I click off of this, it will show here at the top. And then once you click there, it'll take you to the page that we built, right? So I use it for things like, new event coming up. Please click here for that. And again, that's in the settings piece of your website. So I'm going to take the banner off. And now I want to show you an actual built one from everything that we talked about here. So here is our virtual services page that I built. Okay. Notice the pieces we see. We see the title and the images that we talked about earlier. Again, I can change those images as I see fit. You've noticed the last announcement banner that I used was upcoming and inclusive opportunities and resource fair, and they could click to that page. It wasn't navigatable. You could just click from there to get to a page. It was hidden. Again, it leads everywhere. You also have the ability to put buttons in here. So these are buttons. And I'll show you how the functionality works. So I just inserted Google images that we have that I've looked up, or from our iStock images that I saved in Google Drive. I also have links here. I've hyperlinked, as you can see. So if I go here and click on this hyperlink, you'll see that it will go to a website. I can make it collapsible if I choose to. And then here, I allow them to, this is our booking page. So it's a link to our booking page. Here's a link to our Jotform for our surveys. And then this image has a link to our Jotform to report a placement. So again, all of these are hyperlinked, just like we talked about. I've inserted a text box here and did the color behind it based on the style that I picked. My theme is, I believe it's impression. Yep, it's the impression theme. And then my navigating pages at the very top with the subpages underneath them. So if I go to pages, you can see how I've added all of these pages. So none of these are viewed because I'm still building them. There's the inclusive job and resource fair page. So if I click on that, you can see that I embedded a PDF flyer so they could click on the or scan the QR code. And then embedded a link here for them to go to the Jotform to register when that was open. So again, I used the embedding link here to just embed an image that they could see from the website. All right, so let's preview it. This little button is a preview button. So this is what the actual website would look like to a person. They're able to switch to a mobile view of it. And this is what the mobile view would look like with the commands here, or a tablet view. That's what it would look like on a tablet. And then of course a regular desktop. And then the buttons that I put here, again, you can put a link into anything, a word, an image, anything. So all I've done is click a link here. And so it will go to the Finding a Jobs page without them having to go to the menu and look it up as well. And then of course, I put a job board on here. So I've literally built every possible page that you could go to. Hiring events and resource pages. So again, it's extremely, the ability to navigate is really good with individuals, and they can click on any of the stuff. Now, the one thing that I will show you is let's say you have some resources for people, right? And I see that question, I'll get to it. Oh, all right, Michelle, have a good one. Is you're able to, again, because it links to Google Drive, remember you can put documents and stuff in Google Drive. So what we've done is we've created a suppository here for people to be able to look up links to things that they may need on a regular basis. So for instance, things like templates, job templates, things like that. So this page is specifically designed for the digital resources. So if you want some email safety tips, if you click here, it will take you to the Google Drive, and that's the document that you can download or print. So it gives them free resources. So the hiring events and resources page, they can, look up career fair and hiring events checklist, right? So here's a checklist before you go to a career fair and hiring event. Make sure you look over this, right? We can guide them to these pages to make it easier for them to get the resources instead of having to come all the way here for us to print something off for them. We also have job search assistance templates, and those are the resume templates and anything they might need for job searching. So we've just created these kind of suppositories for people to have those resources. Those are able to be selected with Google Drive. You just link to the Google Drive and that document. If you need to know how to do that, here's our templates. All right, remember on the website when we did a hyperlink to something like an image or whatever? So I'm going to put a button here. I'll show you this real quick. So we're going to put a button here. And before I do that, let me get a copy of it. So let's say I picked the company research guide. If you right click on any of your Google Docs, you see that it says share or get link. So if I get a link, I can put anyone with a link can access that site. Well, that's what I want because I want to be able to. So I just copy that link and then go over to my fake website or whatever we're doing. And I'm going to put a button here, and I'm going to say the name of the button is download company sheet. All right. That's what's going to appear. And then for the link, I'm just going to copy and paste it here and do insert. So I'm going to make my button big or whatever I want to do, make it a smaller button, etc. You can make it outlined or filled with text or, filled with a color. And so then when I view this, when I click on that, it will take me to that company document. Okay, so you can hyperlink anything on your website and be able to go to something that you have saved in your Google Drive. All right, so I know that we've got about 10 minutes left. So I want to give you a chance to ask questions on anything that maybe I did not cover that you want to be able to do. So are there any questions? I have a really good quiet crowd. I bet you if I was in front of you and had coffee and donuts, I could really get y'all going.
So tell me, because I kind of started building a website, never fully got to it, and also I'm still on this tier of like, do I really want a full website and whatever else? So what are the benefits of this as opposed to a website, or kind of when you would want to use this as opposed to maybe a website?
So if you are, I think the benefit is it's free. Okay, that's the big benefit. If you're gonna, again, it's not a custom domain. You can actually pay for the custom domain if you want to, but you're able to create the site completely free, completely manageable by you. Most of the times you have to go through a website company if it's for business. You can go to WebEx. WebEx. I don't know why I've got Zoom and WebEx on my mind. Bluehost, web hosting, GoDaddy, those kind of things. You're able to do it, but it takes a little bit of coding experience on those websites because you're really building a master web page. This is very easy. For a beginner, for a person that doesn't want a whole lot of content, but just something that looks really good, professional looking. You have a lot of manageability for it. And again, I think the big selling point is it's free. I would not use it if it's going to create some security reasons for your website, if you've got things that are very, very personal. If you choose to do that, you can still build it with Google Sites. But so for instance, with us, right, on our website, at the bottom of the page, let me show you what happens. So at the bottom of this page, these particular forms, I've got a job or I got a promotion, that's very personal identifying information. So if I go here, they have to type in their name, their email address, what company they're working for, what pay they've gotten. That's personally identifying, because if I'm trying to steal your, your credit history from you, they're going to ask me what your last employment was. Well, you can have that information, right? So the way we manage that is we use a Jot form. This is a Jot form. This is a software we use to create forms. It looks like a little mailing when you submit it. But this Jot form from us is extremely HIPAA compliant because we pay for that. So all I did was use a link to connect to that Jot form. So I still was able to use Google Sites, and the Jot form collects the information, not Google. So there's a way around it with using other things. As long as you're linking to a very secure location, you're still able to use Google Sites as that platform of building the website. Just if you've got purchases or credit card information or client information, anything that's very secure, launch it to a platform that is secure. And then you should be okay. All right, anybody else? Miss Laura, Miss Allison, anything? I feel good. All right, well, this was fun. It's a lot. But again, if you're building something in Google Forms, Steve knows I'm telling the truth. I'm not fibbing. If you're building something and you want to reach out to us, and ask a question that you think of tomorrow or 2 weeks from now, do it. We're fine. Well, just say I took your class and I've got a question, and then we'll respond with how we need to. It's not just you went through this hour and you're done. We'll be glad to help you. The other thing I plug is for the consortium survey. They send out a survey after this class. This is how we build classes. People's interest, what they thought, how they want to do it. So fill that survey out. It's very beneficial to us, to them especially, but to us to continue this and build, training that you really want to take part in. So that's it for me. I'm happy go lucky. I'm probably Steve's got something to say.
My something to say is, Richard, thank you so much. I feel like we've had personal attention for the last hour, and you guys, he's telling the truth. He is so accessible with his time. So if you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Richard, thank you so much. Crystal, thanks for hosting us today. And thank you all for being with us. And we will see you next time. Take care.
Bye.